I'm Gail Doby, and I'm the founder of Gail Doby Coaching and Consulting. And I want to introduce someone very special today. This is Drue Lawlor, and she is a fellow of ASID, and she is our director of coaching, and she's been a part of our DSU and Gail Doby Coaching and Consulting team for a few years now. So let's talk a little bit about your background, and I do have to share. One of the things I love about Drue is her positive attitude and her enthusiasm for things, and she's been such a delight to have on the team, so thank you for being part of it.
Well, I thank you. And I have to say that one of the things that really attracted me to Gail Doby and to DSU was the fact that I respected how their business was run. And they'd been on the peripheral of my consciousness, I guess, for a while, because I do try to keep up on what's going on in the interior design business, obviously. And I was so impressed with the business aspect and the fact that this was serious information that was being covered. And that was something that interested me. So I think that one of the most important things to me is for the profession of interior design to make it more professional is to be able to really have it regarded as a business. And I think for so many designers, we haven't been treating it as a business because we didn't come with business background. Mm-hmm. And that to me is really one of the most important things that we can offer, mm-hmm. is to be able to really transform their businesses and be able to offer them the opportunity to make that statement out to the public, actually, by our actions, not mm-hmm. just by our words, but by our actions.
Well, why don't you share a little bit about your background, because it is extensive, and you have been a designer, you've been an educator, you've been involved in the industry for years, and I'd love for you to share a little bit about that.
It's interesting because one of the things that I never was going to do when I was in college was teach, and then it sort of happened, and so I ended up teaching and part-time, and I love it, and I loved the design work, and I was teaching design, so that kind of tied in. And then I had the opportunity for a background in training, and I have to thank ASID actually for that. But that was a fabulous opportunity. I got training that I probably would not have been exposed to mm-hmm. personally, and that led to then other opportunities as far as training and chairing the Education and Training Task Force. And so those were things that I have enjoyed so much because it's interacting with people, and I like that. And mm-hmm. I think in design, that's what we need to do too, obviously. We need the business skills, but we do need to interact with our clients.
Sure, absolutely. And as your role as a coach too is to interact with your clients and get them to really achieve different things than they've actually set out for in the past, and maybe they've tried to do something in the past, but they didn't have maybe the strength and the conviction to do it without your help. So being a coach it's a great profession.
It is, because you see the transformation yourself. The other thing I think as far as coaching is it's an outside pair of eyes, so that you're not so closely tied to their business, mm-hmm. that you have the background, yes, that you can offer them that help, but you also have the outside view, which a lot of times is really necessary, because it's hard for people to step outside of their own personal business, and our business is part of our it's part of our life, our everyday life,
our persona.
And it is part mm-hmm. of our persona, and so we a lot of times need to be able to have someone else. We need to be open to listening to someone else and taking that information, but to be able to offer that to somebody is to me exciting. I mean, because we will see things that they won't see. We can give them advice. We can make suggestions. They've got to be willing to carry forth with those suggestions. They've got to be willing to put the work in. But if they are, the changes really do happen. And that's the positive part. And for me, that's the exciting part. It's the same excitement that you get when you finish a client's home or business and it has transformed their lives.
Mm-hmm. and this you're transforming their business. So as part of that process,
And their lives sometimes.
it's true. So in this situation too, we always recommend that if someone is considering coaching, that they spend some time with you to see if it's a good fit. And we've talked about doing an hour strategy session. And what are some of the things that you talk about in that strategy session?
In the strategy session, one of the key things is where are they right now? Where is it that they want to be? What's an ideal day for them? What's an ideal business for them? What would that look like to them? What do they feel that they have done in the past to change things? And has that worked? And if not, why not? And if so, why has it worked? Of course, we want to know what is the size of their business? And what size do they want to take their business to? And it may not be that they want a huge business, but they want less hours and higher income.
Who does not want that?
I mean, wouldn't that be the ideal?
Right.
So those are some of the things that we ask them, and that I like to know about them before we talk. So I get a feeling for where they're coming from. It's also helpful to find out what their background is, because a lot of times designers will be very cautious about sharing their background because maybe it wasn't strongly in interior design. But what they forget is their background can really be an asset in their business, and sometimes they don't look at it that way, and we can look at it as an outsider and show them how that can be real positive. For example, we have some that come with a business background, like you do, which is definitely a positive.
Well, I think the important thing too is that if you, as a business owner, are serious about growing your business, then working with somebody to keep you accountable, to push you, to get you out of your comfort zone is where you will find the biggest transformation. And the confidence that comes from that in working with a coach is invaluable. You cannot replace that. And I don't think any of us really push ourselves as hard as we can. And having that extra help is really important. So thank you for taking the time to talk about the strategy session. And I hope that if you're interested in working with Drue, definitely reach out and fill out a strategy application form and have a chat with her.
Well, and I would love to have that. And I also want to add that we all have coaches also.
We do.
So it's not something that we are the experts in all, but we have coaches too, and we are constantly learning.
We have to. Okay, well, thank you so much, Drue, and thank you for being a part of the team.
I love it. Thank you.